Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I'm Rod Ngonzi. Joining us later on Sign Language, Mughal Mohammed. Let's take a look at our top stories for the night. Makerere University administration will not reduce the 15% increment in tuition fees. Driver of a trailer from DRC found dead at Bwera border post. On the international scene, thousands of Zimbabweans march against Western sanctions. And in the world of sports, pool cranes return proud from Apa in South Africa. Hello once again. Makerere University management insists on continuing with the accumulative 15% increment on tuition for every new intake, clarifying that it is the new fee structure for the university approved by the University Council. That's in 2018. Acting Vice Chancellor Kakumba Umaru told the media that these fees, though changed rather, will still be far below the recommended government unit cost. We'll get you that in a bit, but a section of members of parliament have challenged government to come up with policies that regulate general tuition increment in all education institutions across the country. MPs want the Ministry of Education to come up with a policy that will protect the students. We have that story.
Why is it that a university wakes up every morning and adds the tuition without consultation? Every university, even primary schools, even secondary schools. I sit in the Committee of Education, we agreed this with the Minister of Education, and he said no. As the ministry must pass a policy that before the tuition increment, the ministry must have a meeting with the stakeholders and agree. Because they know the economy, how it is standing.
In 2018, Makerere University made a tuition increment of all undergraduate programs for first-year students by 15%, which took precedent beginning 2018-2019 academic year. The 15% fees increment was to be successively continued for each cohort on the fees for the previous academic year over a 5-year period. For a student who joins the university at a given fee structure, the 15% factored in until completion of the course, although the outgoing guild supported a proposal which seemingly did not receive support from students. It became a strategy for the new leadership to take on the matter fresh.
Right now,
Members of Parliament say the proposal was misunderstood and not highly consulted upon by relevant stakeholders.
We need Makerere as the highest institution of learning in this country to involve the parents, to involve the student leadership. And there must be room for negotiation. A strike means they have tried all means to reach, and you are not giving them room to access.
We can't resolve everything through fighting, fixing, doing all sorts of things that undermine the credibility of the highest institution in the country.
They have poked holes on the 15% proposal, which they say was not well researched.
Should also come up with a very strong policy on private students, on government-sponsored students. We should have caps on school fees and school dues. Otherwise, everybody comes up with a due. It says, starting next year, I will be demanding this much money from a student.
Just calling the government to listen to these students. This is a public institution.
The chairperson Education Committee, Richard Opolot, says the committee is pushing to see that institutions of learning have a streamlined tuition structure or fees payment with regulated increments.
We need to have a policy that cuts across all the public universities to guide when and how fees increments are made. But this is what the government has not yet done.
So far, Makerere University students have vowed not to give up until their issue is resolved. Susan Naonga reporting for UBC TV.
The police has gotten links to 3 murders that happened in Ntungamo district in Old Kampala. Forensic experts discovered that the guns used in terrorizing locals in Ntungamo district had bullet casings and fingerprints related to evidence collected at the scene of crime where the 3 murders happened. Ivan Kawa has more.
Last week, police arrested 6 people for masterminding crime in Intungamo district. During the operation, 4 guns, 3 motorbikes, facial masks and cartridges were recovered. Latest information indicates that 2 of these guns are linked to 3 counts of murder, 2 of which were reported in Intungamo and 1 in Old Kampala.
And this one followed an analysis by our forensic experts who were able to identify the unique markings on the bullet casings that were recovered and the unique fingerprints which were on the bullet casings.
A number of mobile money operators have not survived this group of thugs.
The same group which on the 5th of October 2019, the armed thugs attacked one called Nancha Flavia and Namutebi Flavia. These were mobile money agents and robbed cash 3.2 million, phones and bags. After the robbery, the border riders tried to chase the thugs, and this is the group which shot and killed one called Mutiaba Hussein.
The suspects admit to the atrocities they committed, but are not repentant of the acts.
They are not feeling sorry, and this one is giving us opportunity to try to find out what could be the exact motivation behind these activities of theirs.
In Kampala Metropolitan, police managed to arrest 208 suspects in connection to theft of electrical appliances, phones, laptops and motorcycles. About 119 are detained at Natete, 60 at Kampala Central Police Station and 29 at Katwe Police Station.
So once we arrested these other suspects, then it would sort of have an impact on the suppliers, the people who go and rob, because they would end up not finding market for their loot.
2,524 mobile phones, 280 laptops, 10 central processing units, 25 television sets, 141 complete motorcycles, 1 Mitsubishi vehicle engine and 15 motorcycle engines were recovered, among other items.
The detectives managed to get whatever number plates, chassis and engine numbers and submitted these today to URA to establish the registered proprietors. And then we've also submitted the serial numbers of the recovered mobile phones to communication service providers to ascertain ownership and also compare with other mobile phone related reported cases.
Police continues with its operations after many concerns of murder and theft within the Central Business District. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News at Central Police Station in Kampala.
And we are also happy with our forensic ballistic.
Now, panic has rocked people of Mbondwe Lubiriha Town Council in Kasese District after finding a driver over trailer registration number ZC6973 dead. He was coming from the Democratic Republic of Congo. This happened at the parking yard of the trailers at Mbondwe Customs in Bukonzo West Constituency, Kasese District this evening. The residents at the scene said that police and the response team for Ebola at Bwera Hospital was informed, and they rushed to the scene to contain the situation. Mihindo Abdu, a businessman at the border, was talking to reporters, refuted claims that the dead could have had Ebola. He said the man, who is said to be a Kenyan national, was seen in the morning seemingly of good health, but all of a sudden he heard that he was dead. However, the LC1 chairperson of Kabuyira town, Baluku Moses, where the incident happened, narrated that the deceased had been sick for over 2 weeks. He called upon the residents to be on high alert since Ebola is still terrorizing the Democratic Republic of Congo. However, by press time, Ebola response team and police could not give a comment. Government is set to come up with a law to manage urban settlements following the skyrocketing population growth in Kampala. and other major municipalities and town councils. According to Isaac Musumba, the State Minister for Urban Development, Cabinet already passed the National Urban Management Policy. Minister Musumba was addressing journalists on the forthcoming National Urban Forum, slated to take place on the 29th of this month.
That may cause more havoc if not managed. State Minister for Urban Development Isaac Musumba contends that this has in the long run suffocated the available infrastructure but also frustrated waste management and hygiene promotion.
Because the implication about increased urban settlement are, one, people demand better social services like health, education, and so on, when there are more people living in a particular place, i.e. the per capita concentration of people being that high.
To reverse this trend, government intends to come up with a law specifically to manage urban settlements as means to counter-check challenges that come with rural-urban migrations.
We are likely to continue having the floods in the towns whenever it rains, because the exit route for the water that is coming from all these roofs and hilltops will have been blocked. So measures are being taken, but as I said, these are things we will discuss tomorrow in the forum.
Prior to this, government is to host a General Assembly on National Urban Development with the aim of bringing together all key sector players to discuss modalities of managing urban areas with a rapid population growth. In another development, the Uganda National Cultural Center is to host the second edition of Art and Culture Festival on November 1st. According to the Executive Director, Uganda National Cultural Center, Francis Peter Ojede, this year's edition will mainly aim at promoting culture and tourism.
The festival aims at bringing together all art and culture professionals, lovers.
This year's festival will see a number of regional troupes showcase different cultural dances.
We expect to have our cultural tourism from the regions, and we also expect to have a lot of food, paintings and crafts from all over this country.
The Uganda National Cultural Center was established in 1959 by the Uganda National Culture Center Act of 1959. It was mandated to, among others, preserve, promote and popularize Uganda's culture in the country and beyond. Dorcas Chimono compiled this report.
And with that, we take a quick break. When we return, more details. You're watching News Tonight.
Does heartburn stop you from eating the things you love? Eating too fast, alcohol or spicy food can trigger acidity, heartburn, indigestion or flatulence. Your best bet is Better Cool. Better Cool works fast to relieve acidity, heartburn and indigestion. Trust Better Cool. Enjoy life. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Mommy, you can't touch it. You can't touch it. Daddy, what's wrong?
I've had a long day, Angel, and I have a bad headache.
Oh, I'll give you something that will make you feel better.
Headache? Toothache. Unapoumwa, unataka kitulizo kwa haraka gani? Mara moja. Pain and Fever Reliever. A quality product from Beta Healthcare. Contains paracetamol, caffeine and aspirin. Beta Healthcare. Caring for all. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Welcome back. You're still watching News Tonight. The Parliamentary Committee on Defence and Internal Affairs contingent today visited the forward operating bases in Beska and interacted with UPD and Somalia to assess the country's troops serving under the mission in Somalia.
The
committee visited the Albesica forward operating bases and interacted with UPDF troops and local Somali leadership. On the arrival, the committee was received by the Albesica base commander Sam Kutesa, and later the soldiers demonstrated military skills.
These heavy ones, these are for vehicles. So they extract explosive from the projectiles and they put them here. So that's an improvised IED.
The commander Albesica base, Colonel Sam Kutesa, briefed the committees on the prevailing situation and commitment to fight terrorism and ensuring peace and stability in the area.
On 19th, we captured our Digre, where we are still holding up to now. Our operation forces are still there. The Somali waiting for other orders from our contingent commander.
However, the UPDF troops at forward operating base in Albesica still face tactical offensive attacks from the Al-Shabaab.
We go back now to the vehicle. That's where the last protection now is there. No. The other form is electronic, where individuals are, if you can afford, are given the receiver so that it doesn't work.
State Minister for Defense Colonel Okero Engola hailed Ugandan troops for sacrificing to bring peace to Albesica town, a once stronghold of Al-Shabaab.
Ni kuona kwamba jeshi wanakuwa vizuri au kitu gani inatendeka au nini. So kwa sasa hivi nimeleta hao hapa ile wakuje waangalie nyinyi katika kazi.
The leader of delegation and the chairperson for the Parliamentary Committee on Defence and Internal Affairs, Honorable More Dorin, was impressed by the performance of UPDF.
The whole world is thanking you. It's very hard for a player to say this player is better than me, but we've seen it here in Mogadishu. We've seen it here in Somalia, where other forces are saying yes. We know we are also trained and we are here for a mission as TCCs, but UPDF surpasses, and the reason we are here.
Amore further noted that the gains made in Somalia needed to be consolidated, given the sacrifices made to restore order. The committee met with the local leadership, who praised the UPDF for their good conduct and excellent relations with civilians. Haruna Mutesasira compiled this report.
Ministry of Education is strengthening avenues for new competence-based curriculum for skilling the Ugandan workforce. The Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Education and Sports, Alex Kakoza, says government is preparing skilled youth for industrial and employment development. He was addressing business, technical, vocational education and training assessors training in Kampala. Here are the details.
Ugandan leaders are seeking a solution to youth unemployment, although Ministry of Education has resolved to start competence-based skilling. The ministry has already developed a curriculum that will be implemented through the Business, Technical, Vocational Education and Training Department. So far, program assessors from the selected pioneering technical and business colleges are being oriented. Skilling Uganda strategic plan was launched in 2012.
The curriculum has now been informed by the industry. What does the industry, what skills do the industries want? So that's what the new curriculum is saying, and that's what is in the new curriculum.
The chairman, Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board, Engineer Dr. Silva Mugisha, elaborates on the orientation courses for the assessors.
Assessors who are going to help us to assess based on competencies rather than just based on theories, on exams. Now, you notice that the move we are taking now is to work closely with the employers. We want the vocational skills, or the skills which are the schools which are teaching these subjects, to work closely with them.
Over 200 UBTEB assessors are training in industrial skills development competencies ahead of the new technical and business skills curriculum.
3 days they won't be looking at the theory part of it. The remaining days they'll be in industries learning how to assess practical training. Because the new curriculum places practical training 70%. And then
this is the first time the industry is interfacing with the training wing of the BTEVT subsector of Ministry of Education to come out with workable tools and assessment. Bella Masangano and Douglas Setumba for UBC News.
First of business, East African Business Council members are meeting in Kampala for a 2-day seminar to deliberate on harmonizing standard sanitary and phytosanitary measures. Participants are drawn from the 5 East African partner states. Let's take a look.
Although steps have been taken towards ensuring that standards are harmonized at the regional level, private sector players from across the East African region are dissatisfied. They decry numerous challenges due to conflicting standards.
We understand there is mutual recognition which is taking place at the EAC level, but this is not enough. There are instances where business people are denied entry into some partner states. Of recent we had the scenario, and also goods from Uganda being denied entry into Kenya. And yet we have mutual recognition.
The private sector bodies under the umbrella organization, the East African Business Council, want mutual recognition and its equivalence. The seminar in Kampala, attended by top private sector members from the region, focuses on harmonizing standards.
EAC, through the SPMT Act, has put in procedures to provide a framework that will guide in identification, prioritization, and the use of the process for the development of these standards.
There are so many jobs coming, so many contracts. For example, combined effort as East Africa, as a bloc, that makes us even stronger to advocate for business, advocate for benefits as far as the trading relations are concerned.
Established in 1997, the East African Business Council is a value-based organization reflecting the commitments of the treaty for the establishment of the East African community. Dennis Igoa for UBC Business.
On sports, Uganda pool cranes returned from South Africa with heads held high after an outstanding All-Africa Pool Championship outing hosted in Mpumalanga region. The ladies won the Black Ball Trophy after aging Zimbabwe in an electric final, while the men finished second to South Africa in the Black Ball category. In the Chinese 8-ball category, South Africa reduced Uganda to second in both gender events. In the singles, Uganda still enjoyed some success, with Lukia Naiga finishing second to South Africa's. That's in the Chinese 8-ball, while Caesar Chandiga was Uganda's best in the men in third position. Vicky Namuyanja was second in the women's black ball singles at the tournament. Uganda, as tournament, collectively returned with about 21,000 rands, the equivalent of about 5.3 million shillings. Uganda was represented by 14 players, including Joseph Kasozi, Rita Nimsima, Simon Lubulwa, Faith Nganda, Sharon Mirembe, and Zaimat Nabwafu. And the Uganda Woodball Federation Beach Circuit of 2019 has climaxed with final action hosted at Spena Beach in Entebbe.
100 players have taken part in the 2019 final beach woodball circuit hosted at Spena Beach in Entebbe. In the youth category, Simon Peter team was the best among the boys with 43 strokes, followed by Rosira SS teammates Brian Okidi and Timothy Suna. In the men's stroke competition, Benson Kanyesije consolidated his overall top position with a 49er strokes outing against a strong field that included Godfrey Bukenya and Jackson Masiga.